Hey, what's up, everybody? This is WFSO's movie review. Last Sunday we went to go see 28 Years Later. I will have the wife explain a little bit more about, what this movie is about, and we're just gonna give our opinions about it after that. So, take it away.
So basically, 28 Years Later is the follow-up to 28 Weeks Later. It is not the follow-up to 28. It's follow-up to 28 days later, not the follow-up to 28 weeks later, is what I should say. Basically, a virus has happened in England that has turned people into, it's not so much zombies, but it's kind of the only way you can describe it as zombie-type creatures. The rest of the world has quarantined England. They've quarantined England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, because that's where the virus is. So it's spread through blood and through bodily fluids such as saliva, etc. And it just makes people rage and then go after other people, and these zombie people are unhumanly fast. Like, they are really, really fast. So 28 years later is how the survivors who were left in England have coped 28 years on from the initial outbreak.
Yeah, but okay, my question to you is why did they end up not doing, the weeks later, then go 2 years later?
28 weeks later wasn't made by Danny Boyle.
Oh, okay. So it was
28 days later and 28 years later made by Danny Boyle. 28 weeks later wasn't.
Oh wow, I'm wondering why he couldn't do that.
If it had been him who had done the second one, then yeah, it would have followed on from there. But he wasn't involved in that one.
So was it like the studio just decided, they just do it their own way?
They're just going to do it their own way.
Okay. Did the weeks later have some success?
28 weeks later was success-wise. It was like...
Let's just say, okay.
Okay, it did what it did. You know what I mean? It wasn't a raging success that they thought it would be, and they thought it was going to do better because of the few of the actors who they brought into it.
Right.
And for all intents and purposes, yeah, it should have. But you can't just jump on a zombie bandwagon and think everything is going to follow smoothly. There was a reason why Danny Boyle is good at what he does.
Because that movie 28 Years Later, it was really brutal. Yeah, it's like one point they had this one alpha, I don't know if it's zombie or whatever, but
the alpha zombie. We'll just say zombie.
Yeah. But yeah, he strongest of all. It's like nobody couldn't even stop him. So yeah, it was.
Radcliffe's character was.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're just saying, 28 weeks later, end up, just say it. Let's just say it broke even, but maybe made a little bit money, but not probably not.
I'm actually looking at the thing for 28 weeks.
Oh.
As opposed to the other two. But in regards to 28 years later, I did like the fact that they used some of the things that a lot of people in England, around the world may not know about certain places in England. And that is, there's lots of little islands off of England that are only accessible when the tide goes out, when it's a low tide. So that was used to the advantage of this movie, which was great. The fact that other countries actually patrolled the coast of England and Scotland and Ireland and Wales and everything, I thought was great. And what the thing is, you missed this bit because you were at the bar.
Yeah.
So they had a guy from Sweden whose boat crashed into some rocks and stuff on the coast. Now, to understanding, you've got to realise that our coastline is very rocky, so you have to be really careful where you maneuver boats, especially at low showing the little kid in the movie. I have to say this because this bit to me was hilarious. He's showing the little kid in the movie his girlfriend, and the guy was like, the little kid was like, "What's wrong with her?" The guy's like, "There's nothing wrong with her. She's beautiful. She is perfect." It's like, no, because one of my friends on the island, whenever she eats shellfish, her mouth blows up like that with really big fat lips and looks weird like that too. Guy's like, "Fuck off." It was freaking hilarious.
Yeah. But overall, I did see, 28 days later, and probably seen that, before 28 years later. And, of course, I saw 28 weeks later as well. So, seeing this one, yeah, it's more brutal. And I think it's actually, what was needed for this displaying, the, I would say, upgraded zombies. So,
Well, they weren't really upgraded. They had just evolved themselves.
Yeah, that was the word I was looking for, yeah. So, yeah, it was something. So, what would you rate this movie from, like...
Solid A.
Okay, you graded an A, and you rated it from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest.
10.
Okay, she got
I love it, the fact that there is actually a second part that's coming out in January that's called 28 Years Later, The Bone Collector, which will actually take you probably back to being with Ralph Fiennes. You've got to go see the movie to understand where I'm coming from in regards to that. It was, to me, it was a great follow-on, and the fact that it has been 30 odd years since they've done the original.
Right.
To then be able to come back and say, okay, now we're, doing it again. Seeing different things like how, the community who had survived, they knew what to do to keep their little island safe. They knew what to do in regards for harvesting food and all of that sort of thing. And they literally, the whole island had a list of chores and stuff that had to be done.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they're like working together to get these things done, like go for food. And I'm saying in regards to like fishing and stuff, harvesting crops and planting their own crop vegetables. And the reason they would go onto the mainland of England was to find things that they didn't have, such as medications. And like the kid grabbed some knives and forks, didn't he, at one point, and he said, "Dad, do we need these?" And they're like, "No, man, we got a load of those." In my mind, I'm going back to the whole mother thing, like, "No, you better take those knives and forks because that shit goes missing," but things like that. So it was really good in regards to that. To me, they did good. They worked it well. In regards to, because this is one of the contentions when it comes to zombie movies that are set anywhere from a year to 5 years to 10 years after an outbreak. Everybody's like, well, technically, shouldn't that area have overgrown? Shouldn't these areas overgrown? Why is people's freaking front lawns cut? Why aren't the bushes overgrown? Why is the vegetation overgrown? And 28 years later did have, everything was overgrown. They went past this church at one point and you could just about see the church.
Right.
So they did do that well in keeping with the fact that the country would be overgrown. Let's be honest.
Right, exactly. For my rating and grading, I'm going to give it an A-, but the rating, I'm going to give it a 9.5. Very close to a 10. So,
you would give it a 10 if you hadn't missed the bit that I just told you guys about.
Yeah, pretty true.
Because that was freaking hilarious.
Right, that's pretty true. So, just trying to be fair.
Cillian Murphy, is going to be in the second one. He did have an appearance in this one. You have to watch it to see him in it. But he will be resuming his character from the first one from the 28 days later. He'll be resuming that character in the second movie, the 28 years later, The Bone Collector. So watch out for that. And it is a direct